face to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Pat Riley.
This is a good night, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
I like that Pat did the
Yeah.
the beer savoring sucking sound.
No,
I
it's,
think Pat was tying his shoe.
no, I wasn't. I was doing the inhale through my lip and mustache move. It's
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
yeah, senior does that really good all the time. You know, my dad uses his mustache as a prop, like masterfully.
We talking PJR1?
Well, no, PJ, who the?
Patrick J. Riley 1?
No, it's Patrick M. Riley. That's who I am, and my dad is.
Are you not Jay?
No, I'm not Jay.
Where did I get Jay?
Probably,
Let's bring in our guest. Let's bring in our guest first.
I've been enjoying this deep research. Into
yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was Jay.
No, it's Van Sanders. He calls everybody whatever Jay, whatever. You know?
Okay, right on. Our guest today, very funny man from Atlanta, Georgia, currently residing at the heart of the Sunset Strip. Ladies and gentlemen, it's
Ben Evans.
Yeah, man.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. This is great. Good to be here in the Rivers Langley Spank Emporium.
Yeah.
Good place.
theater of the mind.
Yeah.
So we're in.
My dad's name isn't even Pat.
My dad's
Get
name
back
is
to what's really important.
Let's get down to the really sort of.
Yeah, how does Rivers watch TV?
Yeah, I know.
So I got 2 new TVs, which is good because we've been using the old downstairs TV to watch WrestleMania and various pay-per-views, and a bottom corner of the TV was kind of dead, which used to get a lot of complaints. So our buddy George, former guest on the show, George Coffey, very funny comic, who now works for Imagine Entertainment, hit me up and was like, hey, they're getting new offices with all new shit at Imagine. If you just want all the old stuff, come take it. So this is actually Brian Grazer's old TV.
Okay.
It doesn't answer how you watch it.
And the
though,
one
Rivers.
downstairs is actually Ron
Get
Howard's
to the
old
part
TV.
where you're jerking off on
Yeah,
the
that's what
side
we
of your
wanna know.
television.
Well, again, no one can see this, but
Do you have a
here we
crick
go.
in your neck from doing it?
Okay, so it comes out and does the
Wow.
full rotation.
Look
Wow.
at that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is in your face. You could come on your screen from that location.
Yeah, so the
Possibly has in the past. I think
Yeah.
that's why we wasn't watching WrestleMania on this one.
the TV does have.
I did watch. We watched WrestleMania.
We watched
on it,
WrestleMania
yeah.
up here, yeah.
Because,
and then we
uh,
all came on the screen.
Hey.
No,
You liked it more than I
That
did.
Roman Reigns is so fast.
yeah. We were really excited about the Undertaker retiring.
Yeah.
So everyone in here is a wrestling fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Because I was talking to someone about that. I'm not a wrestling fan. I
Okay.
never watch. I just never got into it.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's fair.
No judgments.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the appeal? Like, did you guys just all watch it growing up and there's like a nostalgic connection? What's the enjoyment? Like, give me the argument,
So,
the pro wrestling argument as someone that's into it now. Because I was talking about that with somebody else that didn't watch it either. And they were.
I think you
either.
evolve with it. Like when
Yeah.
I was growing up, for instance, it was just, it was the late 90s. It was what everybody was super into.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of took off high school. That's pretty typical. A lot of people will take that like 4-year period off, and then as soon as you get to college and you're in a dorm with a bunch of dudes and you start talking about it, then it comes back out. And that was what happened with me. My buddy Chandler and I started watching it over AIM. So that's how long ago this was. Like he would be in Auburn watching. I was at Montevallo, and we would talk about it. It was just like the best. And I think my understanding of it, at least for me, it's basically performance art at the highest level.
Right.
It's like dance or anything else that's telling a story with your body, but it's also, as far as performance goes, you're just taking every thing that you know about how to perform and putting it into one kind of genre. So you have like the violence of it, but you also have the acrobatics, you have the shit talking, the pageantry of the entrances. Like it's as a performer, and that's why I think a lot of stand-up comics are into it. There's just so much just
Shit
shit
going on,
involved. Yeah, that it's like, oh, this is like the next level. But that's just me. I'm sure they've been fans much longer than I
Yeah.
have. So I'm
Okay.
I'm a novice, but I will say
So
it is,
there's like a nostalgic. You got a connection with people.
there's
you
a
grew
nos-
up watching.
there's a nostalgia to it, but also it's just as a performer, it's fun to watch, and also it's kind of our last, it's sort of the last remnants of vaudeville and also Greek theater in a way, where with Greek theater they used to wear the giant masks, so the audience could just tell immediately. Here, follow my lead here. I'm not.
I don't remember when Aeschylus was at
I know.
WrestleMania.
Well, but my point is that
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods, starring Roland Bart. Yeah.
I'm about to go Joseph Campbell on fucking Survivor Series '93, but no, but you go.
Hey man, that was a patriotic orgy. That one.
that was
The
the
foreign fanatics versus the All Americans.
the Lex Express, right? But anyway, you could tell if you were watching, something at the amphitheater at Delphi. You could tell the bad guy right away, right? It's like comes out with the huge clay masks with the mean fucking mug on it, and you can just sort of instantly, get that emotional connection with it. Same with wrestling. It's like if you watch it and they're doing it correctly, you can just look at the guy coming out and be like, oh well, fuck this guy.
This is actually going to be Rivers' dissertation.
Right.
Oh yeah, I've put my master's degree on hold, but if the comedy thing doesn't start to pick up,
pan
God damn
out,
it,
yeah.
I'm coming for you, Auburn University, with a paper no one asked for and no one wants.
Do you want to go first? Good night.
Yeah, I'll
or
just
should-
make
yeah.
it quick.
Yeah.
Everything on TV is fake.
That's
At least
true.
wrestling is more violent. And I mainly like the old stuff, so
Yeah.
it's nostalgic.
Yeah, I mean, I like the older stuff too. I mean, it's like the people that are wrestlers are really great at the gift of gab, so they can be really entertaining. So like Dusty Rhodes or Ric Flair, or, various people like that. So you can watch people just talk a lot of trash and do it in a very sort of, because if you watch sports, right, it's always just like, yeah, we gave 110%, we just laid it all on the field.
We love Jesus.
Yeah, and it's just like kind of
My
They
favorite
say
part.
nothing in there.
yeah, and because I think because it's like athletics is, game is like real in a way, so you can't really explain it. With wrestling, there's like forethought, and you're telling a story, so it's like, all right, I'm going to go up here, I'm going to talk a lot of shit, and that's going to be part of the storytelling. So there's some people that, will go up there, grab the microphone, say their piece and say like ridiculous things or memorable things, and they kind of, the characters are really over the top, which can be entertaining, and then it's kind of like it's kind of like an MMA equivalent of kung fu movies, right? Like the in the ring sort of stuff.
Yeah, your crane
Like-
style's no match for my tiger style.
Yeah,
Like-
so it's like a thing where everything kind of culminates in the match, and then somebody like is a threat if they win a lot of fights, much like in a kung fu movie. But like instead of it just being two guys fighting in various kung fu style, like like the kung fu movie style that they tend to have. It's like, okay, it's going to be this guy who's 7 feet tall.
and can
Fighting another guy who's 7 feet tall, and they're just running into each other, or guys that are in luchador masks and they're flying around, and there's different like kind of stories in which it's and the stuff that they do is really impressive. Like if people like either they fly around and do impressive aerial stuff, or they can do like holds. And the thing is like the holds in pro wrestling are like MacGyver, right? Where it's like you can recreate the stuff MacGyver does and like create a bomb with a toothpick and various things, but there's always one thing missing. Like with the holds and the technical wrestling, it's always like you could mess someone up, but they always do one thing missing. So it's
That
kind
goes
of
back to MacGyver a lot.
yeah, or it's just two big hosses
It always
just
comes back to McGregor.
running into each other and beating each other up.
I'm a big fan of the NBA.
Okay.
And just to defend athletes, like at the end of games or whatever, when they have
Yeah.
to give those interviews, those guys, everything they fucking say gets put under such
Oh,
a
yeah.
microscope that they're actually
Yeah.
trained to just be like, we went out there, we played hard.
They
gotta
played
give
hard.
it up to God, and that was it. Like
Yeah.
if after every interview, LeBron James had to answer the question of why he called Kobe Bryant a candy ass jabroni,
Yeah, yeah.
it
Yeah.
would be fucking everywhere. And
The
they
world would
tried
be
to
great.
do that
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a legitimate sports league. It was called the XFL.
Yeah, yeah,
and it did
absolutely.
not go well.
Well, and they
Well,
I'm well aware
LeBron
of
wanted
that
to,
fact.
if LeBron wanted to do it right, he would just say that he has no sympathy for jabronis. But the thing is that there are certain athletes that do that. So Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
a lot of pro wrestlers kind of bit off of Muhammad Ali. and created their own.
Boxing's one-on-one though, and when you're part of a team, you don't need those kind of egos.
But Richard Sherman
I was
in
just
the
about
NFL.
to say, I would never gave a shit about the Seahawks, but as soon as he cut that promo after that touchdown where he called that dude a fucking
Yeah.
loser or whatever he said, I was like, this guy's my guy.
Richard, let me ask you the final play. Take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm going to shut it for you real quick. L.O.B.
All right, and Joe, back over to you.
Yeah, but then he's on Sports Center
Yeah.
for the next 24
Right.
hours,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm sure the locker room isn't making it any easier. Have you guys heard about? Do you know who LeVar Ball is?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys know who that-
yeah.
You know who
Well,
he is?
I know who Lonzo is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me.
If you don't know who LeVar Ball is, he has 3 sons: Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they all play out in. Well, they're from Chino Hills.
Okay.
And Lonzo went to UCLA this last year. He's supposed to be like one of the best players in the country.
Yeah,
he's
he's-
going to be top 5 pick this
Okay.
year.
Yeah, he's probably going to be the pick of the LA Lakers. Like, basically, this is the guy that if they can, the Lakers are going to draft him, even though it might not be advisable on an X's and O's level. But they're going to basically build him up as their marquee guy because he's a local guy.
And he's got LA right in the name.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Am I fucking wrong?
I mean, his
Yeah.
last name's Ball. It's all working for this family.
Yeah.
But these kids they're fucking great. Like the LaMelo kid, he's a sophomore. He scored 92 points in a game this year. His brother
Wow.
scored like 78 in a different game.
Yeah.
So they're great. They're all
Yeah.
good. But the dad is going hard on his sons. Like the promotion game is out of control. First of
Yeah.
all, anytime you see these kids promote that he's wearing their dad's brand, the 3B, the big baller brand. Anytime they go, it's the tackiest thing. And his dad's calling out everyone saying that he could beat up Michael Jordan and all this kind of
Wow.
crazy shit. Like, oh, it's fucking
it's
he's
like a
not-
wrestling manager.
kinda
It's
love it.
basically the
Yeah, yeah.
approach.
I
Is
love
he's
this.
going crazy on everyone and saying all this absolutely. The most recent thing he said was that UCLA did not win the NCAA championship this year because they had too many slow white people.
Yeah,
Ah,
like
was
yeah,
the
if
thing.
you have
I'm on board.
3 white boys on the team,
Yeah,
that's-
they had too many slow white boys. Which here's the thing: I'm going to go out and defend LeVar a little bit. Like, listen, I think everyone can agree. Maybe
Yeah.
that might or may not be true. Maybe you don't
think
say
it's
that.
probably true.
Yeah, but whatever.
I know nothing of
The
basketball.
point is that the pageantry of saying that is a great way to promote yourself. Conor McGregor, if you guys follow the
Yeah.
UFC at all,
Yeah, yeah.
understands that more than almost
Yeah,
anybody.
so Conor McGregor, his whole persona is very much Ric Flair. So it's like really well dressed, and if you watched
flamboyant. As
yeah,
hell.
and it was always the thing where it's like, if you're a UFC guy, right?
I watch you.
Okay.
I'm a I'd say casual.
So when they had the Ultimate Fighter series where it was Team Conor versus Team Uriah Faber,
They fought in the
yeah. So basically, Uriah Faber was very much like, he doesn't.
what a fun name.
Yeah, I know.
Uriah Faber. He looks like a surfing model.
Yeah, he's
too,
a-
that
Sounds
kid.
like a Charles Dickens character.
Or
Yeah.
a prog rock band.
Yeah,
Oh.
so Uriah.
touch that guy's Charles Dickens. He's a
Yeah.
good looking boy.
But yeah, Uriah Faber is kind of like they did the dynamic of the Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair thing, where it's just like, oh, Conor's just like, oh, he's standing there in jeans and a t-shirt and stuff like that. You don't look like a champion, blah 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 blah. So I mean, yeah, but there is
It's
this
funny
sort of
that
thing.
the man named Uriah is charged with being the voice of the people.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, there's
just
nothing scary
working
about a
man.
Uriah.
Oh,
My
man.
name is Uriah.
No, but you have to
Just a
promote
common
yourself.
man.
You almost have to be that loud asshole to get any sort of stature in sports and
Well,
leagues
yeah,
and
it's
whatever.
like
Yeah.
Pat McAfee. Like Pat McAfee's a punter. And he's like, or Chris Clue, they're punters and they're really well known because they're guys that just go out there and promote themselves in their various sorts of ways, So.
Well, what I would reference going back to the NBA thing is if you know who Kawhi Leonard is, he's like one of the best players in the NBA. He should perhaps be the MVP this year, but he
Yeah.
doesn't talk.
He doesn't talk shit.
After a game the other day, they go, Kawhi, that was like a super difficult game right there. Tell me a little bit about that big win for you guys. And he literally said, basketball is fun.
Yeah.
in the most monotone voice. He's a
But he's
robot.
a San Antonio Spur, right? You know, that's like their
he's
MO.
devoid of personality. It's incredible.
I mean,
I enjoy sports.
The only person that
basketball is fun.
yeah,
I'm sweaty.
yeah,
Maybe
it's
this gets to the heart of
My
maybe
feet
the
hurt.
wrestling appeal. It's
Yeah,
sports
okay.
plus personality.
I'm coming around.
yeah. So
Okay,
it's
this is what I wanted. I wanted to be sold.
But the thing that's interesting is that you're very on point, because there is a sort of thing where the athletes are very much under the microscope. And you can have a sort of situation where people do go forward and talk trash, and it becomes this sort of thing where Skip Bayless, Michael Smith, et cetera,
Stephen A.
Screaming A. Smith will talk
Screaming
at ends, at the ends of the earth, to talk about this sort of thing. But you can kind of see that there are, there are athletes that do that sort of thing, and it does help them out. And kind of, if you go back a little bit, prior to like the 24-hour news cycle of sports, it's like you have all those athletes that were like primo trash talkers that kind of either responded to pro wrestling, because there's a lot of athletes that were big pro wrestling fans, or wrestlers took from, so Muhammad Ali influenced Dusty Rhodes and superstar Billy Graham, and then
But he also took a lot of shit from Gorgeous George.
he took a lot of shit from Gorgeous George.
who was an old wrestler.
The
But-
names are so
But
brilliant
like,
in wrestling. It's-
but Charles Barkley, for example, is a big wrestling fan, and he
yeah?
would take things from like all the kind of Ric Flair and various people like that. So he created his persona, or a lot of the lines that they trade lines and stuff like that, because it's very conventionalized.
Yeah.
But if you look back, there's always like Isaiah Thomas, various people like that just were mega asshole bad guys, or good guys that kind of position themselves talking, and like the 86 Bears, the 86 Bears were basically a pro wrestling stable.
they made a fucking rap video.
Ooh.
They had
One
their
of
own
the best.
McMahon.
yeah, they had their own Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Except, theirs was a little bit more punky, But yeah, no, it's so there is kind of an overlap where there's all the UFC guys, for example, a lot of them are pro wrestling fans or are conscious of pro wrestling. So, the whole thing with UFC is like, if you cut a promo, you could be kind of a middling fighter, but you could get more opportunities based upon your ability. Conor McGregor made his name doing that sort of thing.
Filthy Tom.
Smiling Sam, was able to. Filthy Tom Lawler, Jesus, he, now he's he was a pro wrestler, became a UFC guy, got busted for, performance enhancing drugs, which he didn't take on purpose, I believe. He's going back to pro
not.
wrestling,
Yeah.
Tainted meat, baby, tainted meat. That's
Yeah.
the story.
I didn't know it was in those steaks. Yeah.
The steaks just have needles sticking out of them.
Right.
How could I have known?
Okay. Well, no, that clarifies things.
Yeah,
quite
a lot
bit.
of
The
pro
pageantry.
Yeah, a
and
lot
the-
of pro wrestling sucks. But like there is like
But a lot of sports suck.
a lot of
too.
sports suck.
Well, no, pro wrestling doesn't suck. Pro wrestling fans suck.
Yeah, that's
though.
true,
They're
yeah.
the dumbest people you ever want to meet. And the redneck ones ain't always even the most dumb ones.
Wow.
But there are some fun, like, because there was a big cross. So like if you're a UFC fan, I know that you dabble in it, but like the guys that were kind of the early stage UFC guys, like Ken Shamrock, Dan the Beast Severn, people like that, they actually were professional wrestlers before they went into UFC. You know,
Right.
so they were athletes, like they were.
Which that seems like the
Amateur
exact
rep- yeah.
opposite way you would want to do
Exactly,
that. Right?
exactly.
Like, go. Well, I mean, I understand that professional wrestling is like not easy. and
Yeah.
It's hard on people's lives and shit. But like to then go really get punched in the face when
yeah.
you're later on in life
I don't
seems
know.
like the worst.
It worked out real well for CM Punk, though.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of confluence between the two of them these days.
Yeah, there's actually
Somebody rang the doorbell.
There's actually a really, for those of you that are book reading types, there's a really good book called Ali versus Inoki, which is about the Muhammad Ali Antonio Inoki fight. So basically, Muhammad Ali fought a Japanese professional wrestler named Antonio Inoki. It was originally going to be Bruno Sammartino, the match between the two of them, but it ended up being Inoki versus Ali. And it was like considered to be this weird sort of spectacle that was like kind of this weird precursor to MMA. It was a big flop, but
It was a terrible, terrible match.
yeah, but essentially it was like you would have basically Ali was a big wrestling fan, so he would get involved in wrestling matches and stuff like that at Madison Square Garden and challenge all the wrestlers and things like that. And there was one time where he went in the ring and picked a fight with Gorilla Monsoon, who's a big 400-pound guy. And Gorilla Monsoon picked him up, gave him an airplane spin, dropped him. Ali came out, and he's just like, you're ugly like a gorilla, doing the whole like, that's why they call you gorilla, because you're ugly and you smell, all that
Fred
sort of
Sanford thing.
yeah, but it's a really good book about how like kind of the antecedents to like things like MMA came out of this sort of interface between wrestling and boxing through the Ali Inoki fight.
Yeah.
It's a great book, but like Ali like had the connection with Gorgeous George, but also like Classy Freddie Blassie. He was friends with Classy Freddie Blassie, and they kind of would interact with each other. One of the sparring partners that Ali had for a short time was Roddy Piper.
That's right.
So there was actually kind of a good kind of
Stand-up comedian.
Now let's talk about this pro wrestling stand-up comedian overlap.
No, I feel the same way about wrestling that I do multicam sitcoms, where I don't watch it, but I bet it would be fucking blast to participate in.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the like Rob Gronkowski, I guess, was did he participate in the last WrestleMania?
He jumped into the Battle Royal at the pre-game show.
Yeah,
of WrestleMania.
it would be a blast if you ever got to like a level where they were like, "Hey, you want to come do a cameo?" I bet that'd be the funnest thing in the world.
My favorite part is that they didn't smarten up his wife or girlfriend, and when he hopped the rail, she was like, "No."
It was a security guard.
Huh?
So there's this female security guard that works for WWE that wasn't smartened up to it.
Oh, is that what it
so
was?
So she like came up there and she was like probably about 5'5".
Yeah.
And she went face to face with Gronk. And I think that in like the NXT.
Wait, so she wasn't in on the.
She didn't know he was.
She didn't know, so she was just like, they had to get like referees and things like that to come out there and smarten her up and say, no, Gronk is supposed to be.
He's supposed to run in. Yeah.
But I think that it's going to lead to a situation where if like, and I hope they run with this, that it's like, oh, there's a weird situation going on. Like, we need to break some people up. Send that security guard in there that faced off with Gronk, and she's gonna like basically
choke him out.
You've heard about their reality show they tried to do, right?
No.
So like the Gronkowski brothers tried to pitch this reality show, and basically
There's 5 of them. They're all in the NFL. I think.
Yeah. And they tried to pitch this reality show, and everybody got to look at it was like, I hate you guys. Like, no one will like this. And so it just basically got kicked out of every office. So now, where's the next logical step? Go to Mr. McMahon, get all 5 of those motherfuckers, and have a team.
Like a team Gronk.
Yeah.
They're just the worst, and they just show up and just like guzzle beer and like grab people's girlfriends.
No,
and shit.
Gronk is.
I hope they're not listening, Rivers, because they may end up doing this shit.
I'm not. I don't like. I abhor the New England Patriots.
Wow, that's
like basically
to me.
who I root. Are you a
I'm
Patriots
from
fan?
Massachusetts.
Okay,
originally.
well I apologize, but
that's all right.
it's.
I think you got an ally on that side of the table.
So I always.
Yeah, but I don't.
Respect,
I know that people don't like the Pats, so I don't get all fired crazy. about it.
Generally,
as
I
long
base-
as they like the Celtics, it doesn't bother me.
So my continuum of who I root for is basically based upon who's closer to the Patriots. I'm going to root for them, and then who's closer to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to root against them. Which there's no stakes in rooting for Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm just like, man, wherever Cam Newton goes, that's where I'm going, man.
But Gronk, like I like Gronk. Gronk is cool. Like he's basically.
You wouldn't want to go on a road trip with him.
No,
I
I wouldn't want to hang out with him. But it's like
You wouldn't want to watch a TV show with him, but if he showed up on
Crash
wrestling,
Leets. There's like he has a kid show called Crash Leets.
What?
Yeah, that like Sean Green and a couple other stand-up comics write for, and it's apparently pretty good.
Crashly.
Crash Leets, yeah.
Is
It's
this
on
a
Nickelodeon.
cartoon?
No, it's like a live action, like sort of.
it's just him and kids.
It's Gronk trying to read at a 6th grade level.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It's Gronk shotgun and juice boxes and stuff like that.
Super Fudge by Judith Bloom.
But no,
Page one.
no. I mean, you have to give a shout out to Gronk because Gronk was like one of the first athletes to like openly
Oh wait, he's from Massachusetts, isn't he? Or where
No,
is he?
No.
he's from New York.
He's from New York. He went.
Upstate.
Yeah, the super fudge. I fucked up the accent. I don't
Yeah,
know why.
but he was one of the first
I immediately
athletes to
went to
like kind of
Georgia.
openly support gay marriage and things like that. You know, which is
Is that true? There's got to be somebody else
more
leading
for-
that,
well, no-
holding that flag.
Well, no,
know what
I mean
I say?
in the press, like
That's
like kind
I
of
think
go out
that's 'cause
there.
Massachusetts had it early.
You know what I say? That means more pussy for me. And then he's guzzling a beer.
I don't know. That doesn't make him a football great in my book. I mean, it really
He's a
depends
hell,
on what
no,
you do
but it
on the
makes him one of
gridiron.
those things. Like in the world of football, it's like this guy's actually.
Football had it's winning a place back in my heart a little bit, especially with this last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, with the fucking
Oh,
beating up the
God.
chicks and the
Stop
concussion
it.
stuff,
Stop
it's
it.
like.
Are you telling me football is regressive and bad?
But I mean, as someone that grew up loving football and
Yeah.
watching it and whatever, and rooting for the Pats with my dad and watching Drew Bledsoe either fumble or throw a pick for an entire decade, it was
Yeah.
like, I got a connection to it. And
What about
Man.
Steve Grogan?
Oh yeah, that's old Colonial Pats uniforms days.
See, this is why I like college football, is because all of my heroes don't get to the level where they can beat up their girlfriends in fun
Oh,
hotel
no,
rooms.
no,
Well,
no,
to be
no.
fair- to be
Ask
fair,
Baylor
Bo did.
University
They get-
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Bo did though,
Joe
but he
Mixon.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, they like destroy their bodies early, and then they sell cars in your hometown, and it's great.
Oh, God. Well, fucking Alabama. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you better watch out. Nobody can hawks for used cars better than Danny Warfel. So
Has anybody listening ever bought a used car from either of these guys?
no,
Write
I
to
think
us.
I know a number of people that have bought used cars from Dan Marino and or
What about
John
Haku?
Elway.
What about Haku?
Dude.
If you've ever bought a used car from Dusty Roads, you might,
You might be
a
right in that. Or you just went to Tom Stamas Auto down it.
Somewhere along the lonely road, I had tried to find ya. Day after day on that winding road, I had walked behind ya. Easy living, and I've been forgiven since you've taken your place in my heart.
You're from Massachusetts originally, or are you?
Yeah, so
from-
I was born in Mass. I lived
Okay.
there for 5 or 6 years. Then we moved up to Maine.
Oh, where in Maine?
Right outside of Portland in Yarmouth.
Okay.
Yeah, you know the area?
Yeah.
A little bit. What's your connection?
My
am LL Bean.
my dad's name.
Actually, LL.
Know how I said my dad's name isn't Pat? My dad's name is LL Bean. My dad is Angus King. No, my mother is from New Hampshire. So
Oh, okay. That's where my mom's lives now,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So I went to boarding school in New Hampshire.
where'd you
When I
go?
did the
Where'd you go
trifecta.
to?
Wait, did you-
Proctor Academy.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
I
so
thought
my-
it was going to be what's the one that Lincoln's son went to?
Well, everyone knows
Phillips
Ando.
Exeter.
Yeah,
Phillips
everyone
Exeter. So
knows
Phillips Exeter is like the so it's like Phillips Exeter is like the Grand Poobah boarding school, and then
It's-
underneath that is like Proctor Academy, Brewster Academy,
And then the-
places
and-
like-
No, see, you just went. They'll like.
Oh, Brewster
I'm about
Academy?
to talk shit
Well-
about the Lakes region boarding
whoa,
school
whoa,
community
no,
right
okay.
now.
Hold
But
on.
My mom is from Laconia, so let's start.
Everyone's getting real fired up about boarding schools. I just wanted to ask, which where does the cider house rank in all of this? Because that's the only boarding school I know.
Yeah.
Is the cider house and the one from the Little Princess?
no,
That's
the
all I know.
Connecticut ones are the super snooty ones.
Okay.
Loomish, Chafee, Hotchkiss. Those ones are super snooty.
See, I didn't know about boarding schools until I went to college, and then there was like
you missed out on the whole thing.
Yeah, I missed out on the whole thing, but there was like I only knew about Brewster because
The Mistake by the Lake. That's what we called that.
really,
Yeah.
them-
Boom! Fuck you, Brewster.
no love for Wolfboro. All right,
No, I played a lot
Doesn't
of
Mitt
soccer games.
Romney
on
have
that
a
one.
house there?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Romneys do.
Rock and Rob's wife, Emily, if she's listening, is from Wolfboro.
Yeah, the
Wait, is Rock and Rob's your buddy Rob?
Yeah.
Okay.
path
right
the
on.
ketchup,
That's the ketchup. Turn and burn, baby.
but the
Gotta clear that up for everybody.
yeah, I
won't
didn't know,
understand
but
that
there's like
reference so bad.
there's this like you don't have to, you should.
I don't either. I just
Yeah.
Nobody does, just between me and him.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's like just this whole universe of them. Like there's like St. Paul and
Yep.
God, I'm trying to remember which one my roommate in college went to, because that's how I heard about what boarding schools were all about. Because
Yeah, it's a different world, man. And to be honest, like, I feel like it not it's like cliche to say it saved my life, but I needed to go to boarding school. Like
Okay.
I was not one of those people that did well in a public school environment because I was way too out of control and like
What happened in public school that led to going to boarding school?
just a series like I don't know, man. My parents were like going through a divorce too, so I
Okay.
was like completely
Oh,
acting out, like
off the
stealing
fucking-
tests and changing my progress report, and
Oh,
like
shit.
the final nail in the coffin was I failed French freshman year. Madame Pollard, that bitch, failed me, and my dad was like, "All right, you're fucking out of here," and I was like, "Thank God, I need to get away from you losers, anyways." And yeah, they shipped me off to boarding school after freshman year of high school, and I only looked at one boarding school. I only looked at Proctor. I didn't go to anywhere else. I got in, and it was it. I left, and I mean, I would go back on summers and stuff, but like it was great.
Is Gamble across the lake with Proctor?
There you go. Hey,
So
there you go.
we're
Hit that
in
symbol.
we're in New Hampshire. Is Proctor?
It is in a small town called Andover. There is
Okay.
a
Yeah.
barber shop, one pizza place, and that's it.
How was the pizza?
It was great. Yeah, I mean, it was all we had to eat, so we didn't know any better. Which
Okay.
was the same way we kind of looked at the girls that were there. Like when we first got there, we were like, "Oh no, this is going to be tough." A lot of these gals not looking so hot, and then 2 weeks in, we're like, "There are some dimes in this place. Look at this!" Like you really came around to it.
Actually, I have a question mark. So you went to a boarding school in New Hampshire.
Yep.
Were you ever on Granite State Challenge?
No, I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what that is?
Granite State. I know that it's. I know New Hampshire is the Granite State.
Well, no, it was a long-running show on public TV there. Where
Is it like Quiz Bowl?
Yeah, it was like all the big high schools and things in New Hampshire would have this show, Granite State Challenge. It ran for like 20 years. It was always like the generals from John Stark High and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they would compete on a Jeopardy-like show.
I have
Is
not
this
heard
public
that.
access?
No, public TV, PBS.
Yeah, oh,
It's a
okay.
big show on the New
Oh.
Hampshire PBS when they're not showing reruns of the Red Green show.
Wow. Wait, what is the red?
The Red Green Show? You don't know what the Red Green Show is?
It was just Canadian
It's
thing.
just a
Yeah.
show about Christmas.
No, it was essentially like a show about hosers.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was like the pre-Trailer Park Boys or something
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
right.
Yeah.
And it's not too different from New Hampshire, so it was like
Gotcha.
they could go for
They
that
got it,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you have so much knowledge about New England?
I spent a lot of time there. I
Yeah?
started doing comedy in Boston.
You did?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, I didn't know that. I,
was
thought
up
you were
in-
a Southern through and through.
I'm from everywhere, Big Data. I bet Boston, Massachusetts, or the Grand Canyon at sundown. Or,
I
maybe-
recognize that accent, Revere, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's more like Medford.
Oh,
really.
okay, Medford.
But I did you ever do comedy there, Boston?
In Boston? No, I started in Orlando. I started
Okay.
down-
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Wow.
Let me
The hot
tell
scene of Orlando.
Tell me about
stand-up.
this Orlando comedy scene because I am from Melbourne, Florida.
And you
and
know
I-
that?
Yeah?
Well,
you ever
yes.
do comedy in Orlando?
there's-
No, I've
there's-
not.
Yeah, no, I went. Well, so when I went to boarding school, I didn't know what I wanted to do after, where I should go to college or whatever. And all these kids were like, "We're going to Florida. There's a school down there called Rollins College that we're all going to." And I was like,
Okay.
great, sign me up." So I applied and got in. It was 1,700 undergrads, and every single one of them pretty much went to a boarding school in New England.
Yeah.
So it was just a collection of a bunch of assholes from the same school that I just went to down at this new school.
Correct.
So that's how I ended up
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Orlando. And then after college, I was like, I want to start stand up, but I'm here.
Yeah.
What we've
So-
learned so far, though, is that boarding schools are a small world.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
dude, super small.
So go back to the boarding school. So you get basically shipped off there your
Shipped
your
off.
sophomore year. In my head, because everything I know of boarding school comes from like movies and stuff. And,
He thinks you
and
do
TV shows.
magic and things like that.
No, not even that necessarily. I'm just wondering, like, what are like the activities? Because in my head, it's everyone's just on row team. Like everyone's like you guys row to class.
Yeah.
you know?
We were all on crew. There
Yeah.
was no roads.
There's no road.
No.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah, exactly. That was the tagline for a boarding school.
We have very skinny canals that
No,
connect our
Venice High.
Venice High.
no. So my boarding school was super liberal, so we didn't have to wear a uniform. Like a lot of boarding schools had to wear like a uniform,
Wow.
like ties and shit. Like ours was not that at
So
all.
you could
wear
have
whatever you
gangs.
want. Oh yeah. And it was
the gangs
dude,
of New Hampshire.
yeah.
We're representing Laconia up here.
Oh shit! You're going deep with some of these references. I love it. Those are the last thing I expected.
Have you ever seen the Conway versus North Conway gang wars?
Oh,
They fought all the way to Franconia Notch, man.
Yo, we're the young men of the mountain.
yeah. But yeah, so it was fucking laid back, man. It was super laid back.
That's the stupidest joke.
It is, but it made me laugh.
The only thing I know is the quarter. So I
At
have
least
like
you knew that. Most people say, "What the hell is that thing on the New Hampshire quarter?" I told him it was a monster or some shit.
it's the monster of New Hampshire.
The monster of New Hampshire. It comes to life at night and it eats mooses
It
and
eats
things like that.
misbehaving children.
What's that on the back of the New Hampshire quarter? Fun spot? Like,
It's got the jester, Jetty the Jester.
Yeah. Sorry. It's what you were saying about
I don't know. Yeah, it was but yeah, it was laid back. I mean, you know, it was definitely structured, which was good, and I definitely needed that. But no, we weren't it was a collection of the richest kids ever, and then kids that got like brought in from inner cities, like all mashed into one.
Oh, so it was sort of a snobs versus slobs.
There you
type
go.
situation.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a 80s movie happening right there.
Exactly.
If you will.
So it was fucking weird, man, and it was definitely an adjustment at first, but it was great.
You could learn to you could learn to do the knife game where you stab in between your fingers and tie an ascot in under one roof.
just right there.
It's like white collar prison, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, minimum security prison.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we had a ski mountain on campus right across the street.
Naturally.
Was it Gander Mountain?
It was Blackwater Mountain.
Okay.
Never skied it, but
The Doobie Brothers
there.
have.
Yeah, that's right. The Doobie Brothers are just there.
except when Doobie Brothers talk about Blackwater skiing, they talk about something completely different.
Well, I built me a sled and she's ready for scooting.
Some of that nasal skiing.
Yeah, there you go. Booger sugar.
Oh, Black Mountains, keep on skiing.
Mississippi tourists, won't you keep on coming?
Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me?
So, I don't want to distract, but you went to Rollins, eh?
Yeah, do you know it?
Yeah, no,
Well,
I mean,
Melbourne.
Yeah, and there was a couple of people I went to high school with that went to Rollins.
Oh, really?
And it was, it always kind of ends up in
Mr. Rogers is alma mater. by
Indeed,
the
he
way.
is.
No kidding.
Yeah, he is.
Did not know that.
Fred Rogers, yeah.
Cardigan himself. That's his neighborhood.
Yeah, it was always one of those things where everybody I knew went to UCF, so
Yeah.
I would get involved in the UCF mix, which is like
That's the fighting league, right?
yeah.
It might as well have been. You went to one of those bars on a Saturday night.
Oh
so it
yeah,
felt like-
the friendly confines over in Hialeah or whatever.
Yeah,
Not Hialeah, but God, what's it
If you
called?
fuck with the bull, you're gonna get the horns.
Yeah, it's the UCF stands for you can't finish, but that was my understanding of Orlando college dynamics, but because I mean UCF is like kind of what you would understand college to be from
Oh, there's
movies.
50,000 kids that go there.
Yeah, and it was just like the most insane parties I ever went to the point where it was almost like comical how just like much they stick to the type of what a college party was. So like, what was Rollins like?
Rollins, I mean, because it was all boarding school kids and there was like 1,700 undergrads and, 600 of those kids wanted to party or whatever.
Yeah.
So like the experience that I had was like, I felt like I went to a small high school. You know what I mean? I did the frat thing too because like basically if you didn't have anyone to hang out with because everyone did that.
Yeah.
Right.
So my Rollins experience, I guess, was very painted by that element of just fucking parties and frat shit and again, it was just an extension of boarding school where you had like you were saying, you got these kids with ascots, but then you had these other kids that
Hey, you want a knife fight?
yeah.
Well, that's good. Did they party a lot in boarding schools?
Dude, there was a girl that went to my boarding school who was prescribed to 100 milligrams a day of Adderall.
Jesus.
So
Christ.
I never like in public school these kids were like,
you went to school with the wild woman of Borneo.
Jesus Christ, man! I'd never heard of this stuff. Like I didn't know. Like public school, it's thought to be crazy.
Well,
These
did
kids
she-
were so fucking medicated at?
Did she need it, or was it like a thing where it's like I'm prescribed, quote unquote, to 100 milligrams
Does
of
anyone
Adderall?
need?
I was gonna say,
and it's
100
like,
milligrams?
and it becomes like a small business opportunity, or is it?
I graduated high school in 2003, so this was like early days of
Yeah.
Ritalin and shit. So they were just pumping this
Yeah.
shit out. I mean, she was She was fine though. She was like a normal person, but I don't think anyone needs 100 milligrams a day. But which the kids would do is they would pretend to swallow it. You know, you go to the nurse's office,
Yeah.
meet Gail, who the year before was Greg, which was an interesting time period for all of us. And they would fake swallow it, and then they'd pop it out of their mouth, and then they'd sell it to you. And that was going around all the time. It was the first time I'd ever seen people do whippets. Was at Proctor.
Wow.
Oh, dude. I mean, it was fucking.
Well, you don't need to go to boarding school to see somebody do a whippet.
Well, I've never seen it before.
Thomas never
though.
went to boarding school. A whole bar full of people in Birmingham have seen it.
That's true. Did people bring tanks to the dorm rooms? And shit?
Yeah, well, they would get like duster and shit, and they would just turn it not turn it upside down because that would ice your throat. But yeah, dude, they would just suck on that shit all day. There was
my God.
ecstasy, mushrooms floating around, and I'd never seen any of that in public school.
Wow.
But yeah, man, and then you couldn't leave your room, so kids would get like fucked up on mushrooms and be stuck in a room this size and not be able to leave and go anywhere.
I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but if not, forgive me. The only boarding school in the area near where I grew up was Lyman Ward Military Academy.
Okay,
and
much different vibe. I feel like
I
than
feel
the
like probably
Proctor
a lot
experience.
different vibe.
Yeah.
But there was a nice like sweet spot of my senior year where we had a friend who similar situation. His parents had just fucking had it, and they're like, "You're at military school now."
Yeah.
We were running dip, cigarettes, and vodka from Auburn, and then meeting him. All right, so the main entrance to Lyman Ward Military Academy is AWOL Drive, and there was an old school bus parked at the end of AWOL Drive. He would meet us at the bus, and like we would set the whole thing up, and we would come and bring a log of dip. He was charging $1 a pinch.
Whoa!
Think about how many pinches.
The corner of AWOL Drive and Copperhead Road.
Yeah, for real. And we would go out there, and he would come out from behind the bus, and we'd just give him the shit, and then he would run back, and
Wow.
And we were making a nice little bit of money there.
There was definitely some townies in Andover making a killing off a 30 rack for old Proctor students. Like, that's gonna be $100 for that Bud Heavy 30 rack right there. And they'd be like, all right, I got it.
Do people?
Yeah,
do
and I
people-
mean it's New Hampshire, so you had to go to the state liquor store to get all that stuff too. So yeah,
that's a
There's
drive.
no tax, but you can't get the booze otherwise.
Yeah.
Did people dip there a
Oh,
lot?
dude, I fucking dipped. I
Yeah.
passed out with a dip one night before my
Oh,
math final
fuck.
and didn't make it to the math final
Oh
that
God!
next day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, that's
Yeah,
that's the
passed. But
worst.
dude, there was
For those of you that don't know, if you leave a dip in too long, you will be
You're
violently
fucked.
ill.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of gross.
it's a great way to ruin your day.
Yeah.
But you couldn't lock the doors from the inside of the room. So if you wanted to hook up with a girl, what you would do is you'd pass your key to your friend. You'd have to be like a whole coordination thing. So you'd sneak the girl up to your room, pass your key to your friend. He would lock the door, slide it under. So then you were officially locked in. And one of the craziest experiences that I'd heard about this kid, I won't say his name, Stevie. He got locked in with this girl, and he was fucking her, and she shit the bed.
No!
And he has to now coordinate getting her out of the room. And he got her out unscathed. But believe me, on that campus of 315 people, that spread like fucking wildfire.
That's the thing. Like if you're not. You have no quarter if anything embarrassing happens.
Hell
like,
no.
yeah, that's the thing that's weird, where everybody's business is kind of out there.
Oh, completely. And that is.
Does it even it out? Does it create a situation where everything's evened out, or is it just one of those things where it's like everybody's business is known? So if somebody has their little like problems or mess ups or
shit
they
in the
poop their bed, pee
Yeah.
the bed, that it all evens out, or is there like a thing where it's
For
just
lack
like,
of a better phrase, it's the hottest shit on campus.
Okay.
Whatever goes down, that is the hottest shit. Oh, because there's nothing else. You're stuck in the middle of New
What else
Hampshire.
would you
There's
talk
one
about?
road.
What else
Yeah.
would you fucking talk about
Yeah.
except the girl shit? In the
Oh,
bed?
and not only that, but it like turns into telephone where it like morphs into some weird
Oh,
other
yeah,
story.
of
where
course.
I
like,
imagine you could probably smell it for quite a
yeah,
bit.
because
Yeah,
the campus was only so big. You know?
But by the end, the dorm rooms been like cordoned off, and people are in like nuclear waste suits, like removing it.
Yeah.
I saw a student of mine dip the other day.
Ooh.
And it blew my mind because I was like, I haven't seen anybody under the age of like me dip in the longest time.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't even do it because of my teeth.
Yeah.
The only people I've ever seen out here do it are motherfucking comedians from Alabama that move out here. So Brent Petty and Nick Thomas are the only two motherfuckers I've ever seen dip out here.
I could never get into that. I never enjoyed it. I got the head rush, the light feeling, and I almost felt nauseous doing it. I couldn't do it.
Here's an Alabama name. Here it comes right here. My buddy Rowdy. We were in photography class together.
He likes wrestling.
Oh. Actually, no, he's like a basketball guy. I don't know. His real name's
what a disappointment.
Well, his real name's Fred.
Okay.
But anyway,
But that's not his Rowdy's not his government name.
Rowdy's not his government name.
That doesn't count.
Rowdy's is, that's all I've ever
Doesn't
known him as.
count.
Anyway, Rowdy and I were in photography.
Fred.
Yeah, Fred and I were in photography together. And in photography class, you got the running sinks all the time, so it became very easy to dip because you could just like spit in the sink while the water was running, and you were doing your chemicals and shit like that.
That sounds like fun.
It was great, and we had the dark room, but that was the only time I ever fucked with it. But only because it was during their like maybe 6 months period where Skull. Before the government told them, hey, that's candy for children, was marketing their like wild berry flavored bandits, and they were great. So you could, but they were so even at 15, I was like, this is clearly for kids. Like it's wild berry flavored and it's the bandit, so you don't even have to pinch the shit. It's in a tea bag and you just put it under your lip.
We had portable classrooms at my school. Like half of the classrooms were those
trailers.
The trailers, yeah. And dipping was so prevalent at my school because you would get like the fountain Mountain Dew or whatever.
Yeah.
You drink your Mountain Dew and you had a dip cup for the rest of the day. And there were stains all over the indoor-outdoor carpeting in every classroom, just like skull stains or Copenhagen stains, all over the carpet. It
like
just
the gross kids who would spit and then step on it.
It looked like it looked like a giant Tootsie Roll exploded in the.
That's what was great. That's why everyone dipped in boarding school, though, because you could do it without any
drawing
risk of
attention.
smell, right? So you could just be in your room and dip all day. Like people smoked weed in there, but that was like a whole contraption you would have to make with a water bottle and dryer sheets. And
how insane is it with technology that boarding school kids? That boarding school kids have it so easy now, or like people in
because like in
dorms, college dorms have it so easy. Because I remember because I've never been a weed smoker at all, but the people when I was in undergrad who were first discovering weed, it was like one of those weird things where my school was like everybody was first discovering weed. It was like a ritual. It was almost like Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction. All the things they had to go through to ensure that there was no lingering scent. So if somebody on patrol came by, that RA on patrol wouldn't notice. So it would just be like, yeah, of course I need 16 cans of Axe body spray sitting around, and of course I need to, have just tons of
fabric softener in the tube that you mentioned. Yeah, that's the classic.
That's the classic. Yeah.
They used to do the thing where they would wrap socks and stuff like that in bounce sheets and put it on in the crack in the door.
Towel. I remember people doing that with towels.
Yeah, you put the towel down. Yeah, no.
Eric Dodorian has the greatest joke about the sock.
What is that?
Where it kind of goes to what you were saying about the thing of like if someone's hooking up in the room and all that sort of stuff. He had this joke. I'm going to butcher it, of course, because it's Eric. If I got a sock on the door, it means I'm getting it on. If I got a sock under the door, it means I'm smoking a nug. And if I got a sock on my penis, it means I'm giving away, give it away now.
Give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away now. Give it away now. Give it away now. Give it away now.
Yeah.
What was the sports team?
Soccer, obviously.
Yeah, I played the soccer.
But
I played soccer so much growing up. When I got to boarding school, I was so fucking burned out on it that this is the first school I ever went to that I could play football. So I went and played football for the first year. And,
Got out of that foreign stuff into some proper football.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
sick of being a communist and wanted to do something real American. But I weighed 140 pounds in high school, so football not for me.
Yeah.
I
Well,
could catch the ball all right, but I was not about getting hit.
I don't
It's
know.
not my
At a
lifestyle.
boarding school like that, I imagine 140 pounds will put you on the defensive line.
Oh no, dude! They were recruiting kids.
Oh, really?
No, because remember the other half. There's the
yeah,
there's
yeah,
the
the
mansion
slobs,
there's the
yeah.
mansion set, but there's the Rodney Dangerfield
Yeah,
team.
dude,
Yeah.
it was. I mean, there were kids that had already graduated high school from like Cambridge, Ringe, and Latin in Boston, and they were 19 years old. And
Yeah, I mean that is true. Where it's like the boarding school scene is one of those things where it's like, well, technically this 21-year-old guy from Sudan has never gone to a 12 years of real school before, so we'll just get this 21, maybe 39-year-old guy from Sudan
Yeah.
in on our high school basketball team.
Yeah, we had them. It was real weird. Like, I can't imagine what it must have been like for those kids to be 19 and be getting told what time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I have nightmares about that still to this day, where I go back and I'm like 30 and I'm at Proctor, like, fuck.
You just hear
I
taps.
can't
in
believe
your
I'm
head.
back here. What the hell happened? I got a test tomorrow. Like, it still freaks me out. So I can't imagine like having already graduated high school.
How
and go
awful
back.
was the food?
Not too terrible.
Really?
No, it wasn't too bad. It was all right. And then we had another place called the Den where you could go and they would like make you grilled cheese and fries and
that's
shit
tight,
like
yeah.
that.
The guy
This
behind
was
the bar
before-
would shoot it straight.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, this is
Lu-
before gluten too.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, "Fucking whatever." we're gonna get-
Lunchman Larry hooks you up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't too bad. I mean, dude, for what a lot of those kids were paying to go there, there's no way that those parents would have been okay with subpar fare. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it had to be hooked up. But no, the best time in boarding school ever though was when I got to leave. I spent a whole semester in France with a host family.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah,
shit.
the year after 9/11, I lived with an Algerian host family in the south of France,
What town?
Aix-en-Provence.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, south
That's
of
cool.
France, right outside of.
Oh, I know they're
Marseille.
gasoline.
So that was fucking crazy, and they knew we were all gonna drink, so they just allowed us to drink.
Yeah.
It
There's
is
no
France.
rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they let you smoke cigarettes too?
Well, they
You
couldn't
had
stop
to.
us. They
were
couldn't
forced.
stop
It's
us.
France. Yeah, you don't have to dip there.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just smoke
Yeah.
teacher lights up.
Puff away. So to get that level of freedom at 17, it was fucking wild. You know what I mean? When all my other friends were like had curfews of 11 o'clock, and I'm like walking home through the streets of Aix-en-Provence, like drinking beer at 17. No one cares where I am.
You can't speak the language whatsoever because
Absolutely
you
not.
failed it. And
Oh, dude,
freshman year.
I did. In
Yeah.
order to pass French senior year, so I had lived in France for 4 months or whatever it was, came back, took French the next year. In order to pass me, the teacher made me sing the entire national anthem in front of the class, which I do not know to this day.
Is that American or French?
The French national anthem. I don't know it. I don't know how I got through it. I think I must have read it off of a paper or something. But yeah, I did not. I took
Maybe you just
that.
went la 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 la.
Yeah, you got the harmony down.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. At least the first part of it. That's about all I can vouch for. But yeah, man, it was a good experience. I don't know what the fuck I would ended up doing. I'd be kicking around Laconia right now if I didn't go to boarding school.
Working at Fun Spot, just
If I was lucky.
cashing them prizes in for that
Yeah.
little shit that you can get from what is it called, Oriental Traders?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the finger
frying
traps
clam
and-
strips over at the Tamarack. Yeah.
Yeah, the good life. So
So you just got married recently?
Yeah,
Went
man.
to South Africa.
Oh yeah.
August, yeah.
Congratulations.
thank you. I think.
How long? No.
Yeah. How
Getting
long have you
married
been
is-
married? You got to.
I got married in 2014.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Belated congrats to you.
Thank
as well.
you.
Yeah.
Getting married is great, actually. You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's the being married part that's difficult.
No, being married is cool too. You know.
I would agree with
I
that.
mean, 50% of people in the United States would disagree, but you
Right,
know, I,
right. My
I
parents
dig it
included
okay.
3 times.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. The wedding weekend was killer. We did it in Atlanta. I don't
Okay.
know. Where'd you get married?
I got married at the courthouse in Santa Barbara.
Oh,
So
okay.
just like courthouse
Simple
wedding,
one.
which is real nice because the courthouse is great and you don't have to walk through metal detectors before you get married, which
Oh,
is
wow.
super
What a
tight. Where'd-
hookup.
Yeah, I know. Where'd you get married in Atlanta?
This place called what the fuck? I'm blanking on the name. cannot. It's in West Midtown. It's this giant complex.
Yeah.
That's been converted. Like
I
an
think
old
I know what
mill.
you're talking about.
It's an
Yeah,
old
yeah.
mill. It's where Terminal West is. If you
Okay,
remember
yeah.
Terminal West. It's
Gotcha.
Like right, the building adjacent to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would go so far as to say it's one of the best weekends of my life. You know, out of having all the friends there, because we started doing exactly what you did. Where it
Yeah.
was like, look. We're not going to do anything crazy. We don't want to do force our friends into a bunch of monkey suits that they don't want to be in,
Yeah.
and make them, buy us a gift. We'll just go to the courthouse. Then it was like, maybe we should do a small party. Let's do a small party, just small little thing, just
Starts
whatever.
rolling.
Jesus Christ! By
Snowballs.
the end of it, it was like
How many people did you have?
200. the whole thing, the fucking
We had
band,
we had
like
11.
Skyping in grandma.
Oh,
It was just,
gee.
like the whole thing.
Yeah, we had 11, and that was like one of those things where it was like, okay, the courthouse allows us to have 10 guests. Maybe we can sneak an extra in.
Yeah,
Right.
Me and Goodnight had to wait out by the car.
I missed
memorable.
it because it was on against the Muppets. Sorry, Pat.
It's all right.
That's stiff competition.
It was.
Yeah.
Seriously, Zero Mostel was the guest that night.
Whoa. Okay.
I wasn't missing that.
Can't blame me there. But yeah, so it ended up being just like a huge ordeal and whatever. But I'm glad we did it. I think looking back, it was a good way to go. And I mean, when am I going to ever have like all my friends in one area at one time? You know what I mean? It's hard. So as you get older, man, it's so fucking hard to get people together to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rivers and
Yeah.
I have been trying to do this for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know?
since you moved here, we've been trying to set this podcast up.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So, but yeah, fucking real good time. Love Atlanta. Probably end up back there at some point when I realize I can't ever afford a house in Los Angeles. But yeah, then we did the honeymoon in South Africa. Honeymoons are always amazing because it's a vacation paid for by somebody else, which is a fun time.
Yeah.
We did 3 weeks there.
Wow,
which was,
that's a fantastic honeymoon.
it was a fantastic
3 weeks.
Where in, did you do all of South Africa, or did you do...
Yeah, we
Same
did.
one,
So
yeah.
we started off in the in Kruger National Park,
Okay.
right there, Zimbabwe, and did the safari. Fully hooked on the safari. But
Yeah.
Nice.
safaris are just
Let's run down the animals. Let's top to bottom. Number
By
one.
the way, shout out to our listeners in Zimbabwe. We know we got
actually do have a few.
decent number of Zimbabwe listeners.
yeah.
I don't know who, but thank you.
I didn't know that until now. So
Yeah.
hi.
Hi.
What up, combo?
Yeah, so you have the big five, which let me see if I'm going to fuck this up, but it's lion, buffalo, giraffe, elephant, rhino. I think I might be missing an antelope or something.
Did you put
in
a
there.
zebra in there or
There
something?
might be a
like-
zebra.
Yeah.
There's a big five, though. And
Yeah.
you
I've seen
see-
antelopes in Wyoming.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's
you
a
get
different kind of
pretty
antelope.
sick of antelopes being there, like almost immediately. I mean, you see
like-
so many kudu. You see, just all of those are everywhere. They're
Yeah.
I mean, food is plentiful for all those big cats that are out there. Like,
Right.
there's no shortage of that whatsoever. Saw some lions. We saw. I mean, but honestly, dude, we didn't have like that much luck with the big cats.
Oh, really?
Well, like for example, lions are nocturnal. Like they only hunt during night. You know what I mean? So like if you're driving around during the day, you're lucky to see them like in the bush hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really see anything.
It's hard to find these things.
They're difficult.
Yeah.
It's a difficult find.
That's why you have to bait them sometimes to hunt them. But if they find you, you'll know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The coolest experience though, we got to follow a leopard around for about an hour while he stalked impala, which was
Ooh.
pretty fucking badass.
So
He came
y'all are
up-
just creeping in the Jeep behind him?
It felt not right. It really, because we were literally in this giant Land Rover. It's like 15 people in this thing.
Yeah.
And we're like 5 feet behind him. He did not look in the Land Rover, which was not announced to the group.
Yeah.
Like he started walking towards us when we first saw him, and everyone was like, "What the fuck? What's the policy? Like, is he
Yeah.
gonna be cool with this?" And he just walked right into the thing. We're like, "Okay, I guess he's fine."
Yeah.
And then we just followed like 5 feet away from him, and the guy's doing donuts in this like in the bush and shit as we followed him. And the impala don't all just run away. The women and children like kind of run, and then the male impala stick around and they keep an eye on him just because they're as fast as he is, so they
Yeah.
can get away. So they were just kind of like 40, 50 yards off, just standing there, and we're completely blowing this dude's cover.
That's what I was
it
going to
felt
say.
like.
Yeah,
Like-
the Impala's just like, hey, look for the Jeep.
yeah, exactly.
The lion's behind the Jeep.
Like
Yeah.
you followed him stalking. Like how the hell did that not spook them? But
Because he's grown up around it. They do it every day,
But I mean the Impala.
The Impala don't care either. They're actually safer. They feel safer. They hang out on the road because they feel safer because there's humans around.
Okay.
Right? Because the cats don't
They got
really...
the wrong idea.
Well, yeah. But yeah, so it felt like we were completely cock blocking his game, but I guess they do this all the time. I don't,
So did you see him catch one?
no, I mean, after
fucked
about
it up for him.
Yeah,
I'm
we
with
basically fucked it up for him. Eventually, he was just like hanging out in an anthill, and everyone was like, "Okay, I guess it's time to maybe leave him alone now."
Wait, he just went in an anthill?
Well, he was just hanging out on top of them. These fucking anthills are like 5 feet tall.
Oh,
They're
okay.
gigantic.
I thought he was just like, fuck you, I'm getting bit by ants now. What
Yeah,
do you like
I'm gonna
this?
take my own life.
I'm doing something real weird.
No.
It's like the monk burning himself on the cover
Yeah.
of that Rage Against the Machine album. It's like, I will not stand for
Yeah.
you encroaching on my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cover I'm gonna cover myself in. I don't know what fire is, so I'll cover myself in fire ants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Who's
A metaphor.
driving the bus? That's always my thing with the tour, because as a
The driver.
well, no, but I mean, what is the personality of the person? Because as a Los Angeles tour guide, I do sometimes feel like and I have to tell people like, looking for celebrities is like whale watching, man. This is their habitat.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not guaranteeing fucking celebrities, you weird Australian fucks. The one time I had this group, they were just like, "Oh, you just want to see a star. Like, if we just see a
Wait
star.
till
that
nighttime.
would make our day if we just see a star." And we were driving down the Sunset Strip. Guy Fieri's taking pictures with the whole crew. And I'm like, "Guys, look." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't know who he is." I'm like, that's not my fucking problem.
Come on.
They don't get that channel in Australia.
That is, again, so not my problem. He is a
Oh,
star.
I'm sorry, I can't hook you up with fucking Wahoo Sirius. You know.
Yeah, Wahoo Sirius. Wahoo Sirius was the wrestling version.
Yahoo Sirius.
Yahoo McDaniel and Wahoo Sirius.
You know what I just thought about though? Would it behoove the tour guides of Los Angeles to have? There's a lot of lookalikes in this town, right? There's a lot
to
of
hire
guys
them?
Oh, that's
making
a
a
good
full
idea.
living
Oh, yeah.
off of lookalikes.
Yeah.
Why not set these guys up strategically?
Oh,
drive by the 7-Eleven. Hey,
Yeah.
folks, if you take a look out your right window, Dog the Bounty Hunter is throwing
boy.
away some cigarettes.
This is.
Huh?
That's a good idea,
Right.
Rebus.
I'm sorry to shit on Australia as much as I'm about to, because I've already hit him once, but I'm about to hit him again. I was with this group, and there was a man coming out of the Starbucks. I was with this, like, there was, mom, dad, 3 kids, all Australian, and there's this man coming out of the Starbucks who was 100% not Samuel L. Jackson. But was a very well dressed bald black man with glasses and a scarf.
Michael Jordan.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Michael Jordan is not
It was-
finely
it
dressed.
was just a guy.
No, quite the opposite.
Yeah.
It was just a guy getting coffee on Hollywood Boulevard, and I knew it wasn't Samuel L. Jackson because no celebrity would be caught dead at Hollywood Boulevard
God,
unless they
no.
were there for a premiere.
No.
And they go, "Oh my God, it's Samuel L. Jackson!" And they went, and like I was like with half the group like taking a piss in the Roosevelt Hotel, and we came back, and they were all getting pictures with this guy,
Fuck it, let him have it.
and the dude was
Yeah.
so cool. He was like, "I'll let him believe I'm Samuel L.
Oh,
Jackson."
it's probably the best day of his life.
He took pictures with him, but
Oh, that's great.
That's the point. That's the point where you deflate them and be like, that was actually Seal.
Real quick aside, speaking of lookalike, the reason I brought up Dog the Bounty Hunter, I had the privilege of going to this, party yesterday, his birthday party, and we were standing out in line, it's fucking 25 minutes, and we finally got to the front of the line, and Dog the Bounty Hunter walks up to the front of the line, and Dog's not about to wait.
No,
and
no.
he goes up to the woman who's like in charge. She's like holding this little Yorkie and whatever. And he's like, "Excuse me, can you let me in?" And she goes, "Who are you, the fucking photographer? Like, what are you doing here?" And he had to announce himself as Dog. Amazing.
Dwayne Dog Chapman. I happen to be a bounty
Who
hunter.
are you, the photographer? It was
does this ring some bells? And he starts yelling the N-word at her.
yeah.
What?
Side note: it was not Dog the Bounty Hunter. It was his lookalike.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was his-
that's my decoy, dude.
Yeah, he's about 5'4", but rockin' mullet, like super solid.
Where was
mullet.
this? Where was this at? So I could see Dog the Bounty Hunter's.
I don't know if
lookalike.
he'd be back. I mean, this was like a birthday party that they had rented the space for. It was, but it's Tenants of the Trees in Silver Lake yesterday.
All right.
Tenants of the tree.
That sounds like a cult.
I know. I didn't know what to expect either, but
Yeah,
it was just
that's-
like a regular
Go in there. It's
bar.
a place where
Yeah.
monkeys live.
Yeah,
we are the
you
tenants of the
You just
trees.
walked into a Jethro Tull album.
We, the tenants of the trees, await the dawn patrol.
Yeah. It turned out to just be a regular bar, though, but there was a
Okay.
petting zoo there, which was interesting.
Really?
Yeah, there was a petting zoo.
What type of critters we got?
Of course, there was a petting zoo at
There
a bar in
was-
Silver Lake.
yeah.
Of
And
fucking course.
It's called Tenants of the Tree.
Jen, pay attention to this.
yeah.
Take notes.
So what was there to pet? Munchie cheese? or
There
something?
was a llama, and people were taking pictures with a chicken.
Okay, this
and
place must have
sheep.
stunk inside with all these
No, it was like,
animals
well,
in
they
it.
had like an outdoor area, and then there was like the bar was separate. You know, there was like an inside part.
So we're
too.
talking llamas and chicken.
Yeah,
Cool.
it wasn't too over the top with the animals, but it was just really weird to be at this super snooty party, right? Waiting in line with like a fucking rope and a woman holding a Yorkie, and then the reptile van pulls up right next to the line, like clear the space.
Wait,
llamas
so
and
no,
shit
but
have to
the petting zoo isn't a normal fixture of this bar?
come- no. This was a very specific.
Well,
to this party.
yeah. I'm giving 2 stars on Yelp for that. I thought there was actually a petting zoo at
That
this
would be
bar.
a good idea.
That'd be
That's a
awesome.
business right
Also,
Yeah.
gigantic liability because beer and chicken, like a live chicken that people get to
I was
hold.
gonna say Ludacris has been making it work since 02,
Sure,
baby.
sure. As I said that, I realized I was hungry, and that sounded delicious. But yeah, no, in a live situation, very gigantic liability. But
So who's driving the safari van?
safari van. So it depends on what kind of safari you go on. We went to a couple cool ones that were like a little bit more rural and rustic, I guess. So you're not
Okay.
As
sleeping
opposed to the urban
outside.
safari.
Yeah. No, but there are like touristy Disney ones too that are like family oriented. So in that scenario, you get some just like jolly African dude who's
Okay.
whatever. But then, like the one that I was describing before, where we saw the leopard, there was this guy. I mean, he couldn't have been any more perfect. White guy, South African, named Maudius, who was
Okay.
6'5", 230 pounds, and wasn't ever seen without a rifle.
I see.
You know what I mean? Like just the fucking.
Did he have 3 claw scars across his face?
Seriously, I mean that's like what it felt like. You know what I mean? Like he
like
had
he's-
stories about. We were
He's
going
the
to go
bad guy
on
from-
a,
Stories about working in Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
and
stories
things
about
like that.
the fighting the rescuers down under.
If he had told me he had beaten up an alligator at some point or choked out like a kudu, I would have totally believed it.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that level. I wanted to recruit him for Auburn. Like that's
Yeah,
the girth of this
I'll
gentleman.
punch the gorilla.
Yeah, exactly. He just
Hey.
living off bush meat.
Hey, wait, is that Samuel L. Jackson there?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you get those kind of. It's a mixture of just like it felt like all the African dudes were like were super jolly, and every African dude I met, anyway, South
Yeah.
Africa, had the best laugh, like this deep, like you know what I mean?
Like that bad guy in that James Bond movie.
Yeah. Just super jolly. But yeah, so you get like a mix of people. Depends on like the sort of resort that you go
okay,
to, I would
yeah.
say. But yeah, we definitely we got recommended to go to this place called Pilanesberg by one of my wife's South African friends.
As
And
opposed
that-
to Johannesburg.
Yeah.
that different place, much scarier than Johannesburg.
It just sounds like someone caught in a lie. Like, did you say you were from Johannesburg? No, I'm from Poland.
I'm from town Pilanesberg. It's different place.
It's a different area.
Yeah, exactly. Johannesburg a lot scarier than Pilanesberg. As it turned
okay.
out. Pilanesberg a lot more Disney vibe on the safari.
Were there-
omelet bars in Pilanesberg?
Were there enchanted tiki bars?
I mean, might as well have been. But yeah, so that one, yeah. I mean, there was there's like paved roads and shit like that everywhere, and I don't know. It felt like much more of a curated experience, I guess, versus like driving like over trees when we were out in Kruger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was. I'm gonna go back at some point, hopefully, because safaris are crazy. It's insane.
Was the safari the highlight, or was that?
Yeah. Then we went to Cape Town, and but like Cape
Did you
Town.
go to Table Mountain?
We did Table Mountain. You been?
No, I haven't, but I heard that.
But I saw the real world New Orleans, and they went.
Yeah. No,
I thought that was
no.
in South Africa.
Huh?
Table Mountain.
It is, yeah, but they always do the field trip.
They always go somewhere.
Yeah, they always go
Yeah.
somewhere in New
No,
Orleans.
because my understanding of because I always wanted to go there because in Endless Summer, like the surfing documentary from the '60s, they went to like South Africa and just the the landscape just looks awesome.
Isn't there just
Yeah,
like
it does.
nothing but sharks there?
Well, not on the safaris.
Oh, that's
Those are on the
another
land.
thing. We did go do a shark dive.
I was gonna ask.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Cape of Good
We
Hope.
did the shark dive. When we were staying in Cape Town, it was like a 3-hour drive.
Why didn't we start with the shark dive?
Well,
know.
you're about to find out.
Man.
So do the shark dives, a long fucking drive. Had to get up super early. We drive down there. And it's a beautiful day, it's like 75, little wind going, it's, gorgeous day. It's a big boat too, probably holds like 50 or 60 people. And we get on the ship, we're going out, and it's like, ooh, a little rocky out here. This is gonna be a rough day on the seas here. Shit.
Oh God.
So we get out, we anchor up, and now it's really rocking.
How many people are on the boat?
60-ish, 50, 60. It's a big group. It's a lot of people.
Is it like snorkel dive or is it?
Well, I'll get to that.
She's gonna puke.
Yeah, so we're anchored up there. We throw the anchor down. It's really rocking pretty good, and I'm like, whew, this is gonna be interesting. We're out here for 3 hours, huh? So it might be a long day for me. They start handing out the wetsuits, and I pulling my wetsuit up, and I'm like, shit, this thing's fucking tight. Is anyone else hot?
Oh God.
I think I need to go to the bow. Peeled off my wetsuit, and that is where I stayed for the next 3 hours,
Nice.
vomiting into a brown paper bag.
Excellent.
It was. I am such a gigantic pussy. I was asking for the South African Coast Guard to come get me. Like, how much would it be?
Why?
Just to fucking please rescue me.
But why
like shooting up a
the
flare
paper
gun?
bag though?
Because
Shouldn't
I
you?
couldn't throw up in anything else. They were just handing it to me. It was like
wouldn't you want to go over the
Would that
boat
attract
because it would?
sharks? I think
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
I don't
attract
know.
sharks. And you're
Chumming.
going on a shark dive.
Oh
yeah, but
my
that might
God.
make them hungry, and that's probably what you don't want on a shark.
yeah.
So at one point they were like, "Listen, you need to get your shit together. The water is very cold. I think if you just got in the water, you'd be much better off." And I'm like, fucking whatever. Like, and by the way, there's a woman on board who's like designated for the people who are getting sick. She started this thing called like Queasy or something. And it's like this concoction of lavender and mint, and you just huff
my
it.
God,
and it's
that's
supposed to interrupt the
genius.
signals of nausea in your mind, whatever.
Since you went to boarding school, you're used to whippets. So
Yeah,
you-
exactly. I was like, I know how to do this. Herbal whippets. Yeah. Do you have a metal spoon and a lighter? Huh?
Where's the Dave Matthews?
So finally, I was like, I got my shit together, and I was like, all right, I'll get in the water. And the way they have it set up is there's like a tiny cage that literally is not wider than this little table.
Yeah.
And they put a 25-pound weight belt around your chest. And so when you get in, because you're buoyant, the suit makes you kind
Yeah.
of buoyant. So when you get in, they throw a fake wooden seal in front of the cage that you're on next to the boat, right in front of it. And the shark swims by and they go, "Get down!" And then you have to push yourself under the water and look around. Visibility
Whoa.
was only at a meter, by the way, at this
Oh,
at
that's
this point.
terrifying.
So the shark literally had to be as close as this mic stand,
Yeah,
like 3
yeah.
feet away from you in order to see it.
Oh fuck.
So I, feeling as sick as I ever have been, get into a cage with 8 other fucking strangers
You're
wearing
all
a
in the
25-pound weight belt as they throw a wooden seal in front of this small cage. We're getting banged against the side of the boat too.
Did you have a snorkel or a scuba?
No, because they just yell like, "Hey, look down!" So you're supposed to
Oh.
take a little breath and then you push yourself
So you
down.
just have goggles on and that's
you
it?
look for as long as you can possibly stomach it, and then you come up and gasp for air.
This
again.
sounds like a new type of torture.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
it
this
felt-
seems like the Constitution wouldn't
Dude,
allow
it
such
was-
a
I
cruel and
lasted
unusual.
about-
Well, this is South Africa. Don't forget.
Yeah,
they have different rules.
Yeah, they had tiring and things like that.
yeah, exactly.
So the
But,
shark dive isn't so bad.
yeah,
At least according
comparatively,
to Amnesty and their
it's gotten a lot better, and now we're paying for these experiences. But yeah, I
This
lasted
is
about.
Mandela's revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
shark
You put me on Robben Island. Fuck you.
dive. Shark dive.
Went there
Mandela's
too.
revenge.
But yeah, I lasted about 40 seconds in that thing before I was like, "Get me out of here! I need to get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
I didn't care that I looked like a pussy. Like I just needed to leave. I was about to throw up and start chumming in that thing. So
With a shark this close to you.
yeah.
I don't blame
Super
you for getting
close.
out of
And I
there.
couldn't even see. Like they swim by
Yeah,
so
and making-
quickly.
yeah,
It was
making-
like I couldn't. Like where the fuck am I supposed to look? Like I didn't see anything. It was a miserable experience.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad.
It was awful.
And making the visibility worse when you do indeed blow chunks.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Even less.
And now everyone's fucking pissed
Pissed,
at me
yeah,
because
yeah.
I've decreased the visibility
Yeah,
by
it's like-
half a meter.
So you don't recommend the shark dive?
I would not. I can't not recommend it enough. I don't know how to say that without using a double negative, but it was not cheap. First of all,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what happened though. So we did the shark dive, and then on the way, I don't know if you know this, but in South Africa they have the world's highest bungee jump there as well.
Oh, it's on the bridge, right?
Yeah,
All
on the
kinds
bridge.
of ways to scare yourself.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? All of this happened on that season of The Real World, so I'm like, yeah, I know the bridge.
Yeah, of course. That was a long time ago. Real World New Orleans with David, this
With-
black dude.
Yeah, dude. With What was his goddamn song that he had?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
He had a single he was
Yep.
working on.
Yeah. Fuck, if I wish I could pull that reference out. But
Yeah.
yes, yeah, he had that song. But yeah, so anyway, I got so sick during this shark dive that I was like, well, I'm not bungee jumping now. Like the thought of just terrifying myself again or feeling nauseous, like I'm out.
Yeah.
And we got there. We were like, well, we'll just go check it out and like see what it's like. And we got there and we were like, we should have fucking done this because they were like booked out when we got there and they wouldn't allow us to do it. And because it didn't seem that scary. Like obviously it's super high and whatever, but like, you know, the whole experience lasts 90 seconds at most. You're only free falling for like 5 of those seconds. Like, so we fucked that up. That was like a huge learning experience. Like just do it. And if you get sick, you'll recover at some point. But so now I have to go back and do that at some point.
His song, by the way, was "Come on, be my baby tonight."
Oh my God!
Come on, be my baby tonight.
I recall that.
You think it's wrong, but it's right. Come on, be my baby tonight.
I
And
am going to change my ringtone immediately after
this. Everyone almost forgot about it, and then Chappelle brought him on Chappelle's show and made him sing it during the Mad Real World sketch.
Oh my God!
Because we did the snorkeling trip when I did my honeymoon, but we did the one where it was 2 of us because the bartender at the place we were staying at was just like, "Yo, I run this."
Oh, I already love the setup. Yo, it's just a 3-hour tour.
Yeah. No, he's this guy named Richard, but he was just like, "Yo, you come on, Richard Adventures."
Richard Adventures. Dick Adventures.
And we were just saying that. I was just
That's
saying
my
that.
other business.
He's like, yo,
That's my
I
other
grew up-
name.
My
Dick
dad's a
Adventures.
fisherman. I grew up a fisherman. My grandfather's a fisherman. We go out. I'll take you on. He goes on. I'm just like, yo, he's referring to it as Richard Adventures. It's like, yo, the thing about Richard Adventures
This
is.
isn't a meth head, is it?
Yeah, no, but he was like, he kept like referring to it as, he branded it out. It's like, yo, this is Richard Adventures. And
That's the name of this episode.
it was awesome because when we went out there, we realized that like, oh yeah, this guy like works for the government, like doing ecological
Where was
sort
this?
of
Doing
Belize.
adventures.
Okay, I've been there.
Yeah, so he like did like ecological sort of reclamation of like reefs and things like that, and he was a pro. He was awesome, but like it was just 2 of us on his boat. He took us out. It was really like it was pretty cheap, and then we went by the boat with like like 30 people on it. And he was just talking mad trash. He was just like, check it out. That's why you gotta do Richard Adventures.
Oh wow, a little
you're
heckling
right.
from
I
Dick.
know.
Oh, he was throwing pirate shade.
Yeah, I know. He was just like, you're gonna fall off the boat. There's so many of you. Get on Richard Adventures, bitch. And it was just like,
Were you guys just like, what the fuck is Richard
no,
doing?
we were heckling.
We're not part of Richard Adventures.
Yeah, we were egging him
This
on.
is all part of Richard's adventure.
Yeah, I know. It's just like Richard, talk more trash.
Yeah.
We
Come on.
snorkel, we talk shit. Richard
Yeah.
It
Adventures.
was so, dude. It was so good.
What
that
a business plan.
We all
I love
like,
it.
Adventure
it was
part.
so like it was the price was so like fair, and it was so good that we almost tipped him as much as
yeah,
because we were just like, this is awesome. You
It
know?
almost doesn't count. So if you're listening, Richard Adventures, I'm sorry that didn't tip you more.
Yeah,
Well,
we gotta
no,
get
and he
it.
took all
He'd
the
probably
GoPro.
get everybody from the other boat.
Yeah,
riding
I
with
know,
him now.
right? He had the GoPro and he took all the photos himself, like because he's like a pro diver. So he went down. And he was going in these like small little crevices to take photos of like lionfish and all this sort of stuff. And he's just like, yeah, you tell them that you took the photos yourself. They don't got to know any better because they don't know Richard. And if they ask Richard, I'm going to tell them you took the photos. You know, Richard was the man.
Wow, the adventures don't stop with
I
Richard.
know.
Huh?
Richard's
It
great.
really is a Richard Adventure.
We
should.
should do a little commercial for him. Good night. Why should people use Richard Adventures?
You can go and you can pay a lot of money to have no fun. Or you can go on a Richard-style adventure. If you find yourself in Belize and you want to find us in scuba diving and boating and just everything having to do with underwater, you want a Richard adventure. So you go down, you find Dick at the dock, and you go on one of them Dick adventures, you understand? Up in his boat, on the water, down in Belize, Richard Adventures. It's worth the money.
Wow,
There we
and
go.
scene.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
That was yeah. Wait, so did you swim with like the nurse sharks and shit?
Yeah, there was nurse sharks,
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
rays, and the thing was my wife was a little bit afraid of rays because rays have gotten a bad name due to the crocodile
Irwin.
hunter. Yeah, crocodile hunter. What happened with the crocodile hunter was so freak like that it hit, like the barb hit where it did. Like,
Right.
it was
The
such
heart,
a freak.
right?
Yeah,
Get the,
such a freak occurrence that it hit him right in the aorta. But my wife was
No,
afraid.
it was the aorta.
Yeah, the aorta.
If you're swimming with a guide like that, they won't let you get up on one.
Well, no, you can be in the right position. You could pet them, and they're also very. But you can't like step on them. There's certain ways you can't deal with them. But my wife was a little bit afraid, and Richard's like, "Yo, Richard got you covered. If you get hit by a barb," and he pulls out like this giant knife. He's like, "I got you. Richard's got you. Don't worry." But no, but the thing
That
is,
would be
that-
where my trust in Richard
That is
stops.
terrifying.
Oh no,
Well, no.
that's an old diver's weapon. I like Richard.
Yeah, but the
Remember
thing is,
Sea Hunt?
But then he followed it. He followed it with like,
With Lloyd
he was like,
yeah, he'd
I've
always
been-
have his knife.
He was like, I've been out in the river in the water since I've been, a little kid. So like 32 years, never been hit by one of these things, and I've only seen one person get hit, and you just have to cut it out. It's just like a big fish hook. But yeah, it was, the thing was like I was at a certain point I was on the boat just like I can't handle this, and my wife was down there petting, rays and looking at the fish and all that.
You were scared, or
No, it's just I can't swim worth a damn.
Oh, dude,
and I
sink
can't
like a
float. I
fucking
can't
rock.
float. Yeah,
He's all
So-
muscle, folks. He can't float.
That happens though. Some people they really can't.
I know.
Yeah.
I got
No,
that.
my dad can't float. His name isn't really Pat.
Full
Your
circle.
dad can't float.
He's a
That's
Navy
why he was in
man.
a
Yeah, I
submarine.
know. He had to
Oh, yeah.
he had to kayfabe it in order to stay in the.
That's true. He is a submarine guy.
Yeah,
so of
he had to
course.
kayfabe it. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run.
Ben, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
At the Ben Fort on Twitter and Instagram and all that good shit.
Ben Fort?
Yeah,
Like-
FORT.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm around. I'm reachable.
And if
Yeah.
you find yourself in Atlanta, GA, for the love of God, go to the Laughing Skull Lounge, best damn club in the whole country.
Sure, yeah, we got the Laughing Skull Comedy Festival coming up May 1st through 8th.
And-
Shows all over the place, LaughingSkullComedyFestival.com.
And you've got the Rivers Langley guest spot coming
there
April
you
24th.
go, baby!
Yeah.
And then we're going to do Birmingham, right?
Yeah,
We'll do some shows out there?
come see us. Me and Ben are going to be in Birmingham. Along
hell
with,
yeah.
along with our friend Nick Thomas and
Excellent.
some other special guests. So
Yeah, I'm going to try to recruit some other Atlanta people.
hell yeah, we're gonna be at
It's-
we'll be at Buck Mulligan's. The Cret
Nice.
at Buck Mulligan's.
I can't wait, man.
Better than Mulligan's in Decatur.
Good night and I did Buck Mulligan's a couple years back.
Yeah, it was a Buck Mulligan of a good time.
It was, yeah. That's a fun part of town.
It's a bar.
It's a bar, but it's like the Laughing Skull. They have their
Like a
own
little
little
theater?
back room in the back.
Hell
It's
yeah.
it's amazing to see how the Laughing Skull blew up, because when I moved out of Atlanta, they were building the Laughing Skull, and it
Oh,
was
really?
just it was just like, oh, this weird. Vortex people are building a comedy club.
Yeah,
What's
man.
up
It
with
was
that? But-
burlesque before that.
Yeah. So it's it's pretty insane how it's actually become this kind of epicenter.
Yeah.
It's a club that if you talk to most comics, and I am one of them, will tell you that is like one of the funnest clubs you'll ever play. It's and be an audience member too. I've been to plenty of shows there as well.
Some amazing shows.
always great.
The reason that I even have the job that I have, this is like a.
And you book it. I
booked the.
So Ben's the
Acts
tastemaker.
there.
here.
Really,
Yeah.
I know this. I know this one guy who's a really great comedian named Butt Rock Brett. Who's
We're booked.
damn.
Well, two things. So one thing that we do a lot of is these local showcases. They do amazing for us. So like half the year we don't do headliners anymore. We just do like 10 people
That's excellent,
on a
yeah.
showcase. And so when people come into town, we can rotate new people in. There's drop-ins all the time. So it gives the opportunity to people who might not get as much weekend work or whatever to do 10 minutes in front of amazing crowds.
A really good crowd.
Midtown Atlanta. So that's been super awesome. But the reason that I have my job, and we can, if you want, close on this story, because this is actually how I met my wife. I'm not going to say this dude's name, but if you could easily figure this out. But the guy that had my job before me, the first time.
Say it so we can bleep it out.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Want me to?
Yeah.
I'll bleep it.
He had a job before me. He was running the whole Skull. Marshall, the owner of the club, was still booking the comics at the time, but he was doing all the open mic stuff and whatever. So his mom came to watch him do stand-up for the very first time at the Laughing Skull on a Sunday night, and the headliner was Judy Tenuta.
Okay.
His mom had God rest her soul, had I forget exactly what she had, but she had like a brain aneurysm or something. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she wasn't supposed to be drinking, but might have had a glass of wine or something like that, and wasn't feeling well after went up and Judy got on and had to be escorted out while Judy's on stage. Now, if you've never been to the Laughing Skull, we have it's like a black box theater, then there's a curtain, a long hallway to get sort of into the club.
Yeah.
So there's as trying to escort his mom out, there's like a commotion in the hallway there, and Judy doesn't know what's going on, and she's wine drunk on stage, so she starts going, and this is on YouTube, by the way, or at least it was as of a couple of years ago. Are you two fucking making out during my show? What the fuck is going on over there?
Jesus.
And getting defensive over his mom yells, "Shut the fuck up, you washed up alcoholic ginger bitch." And Judy's like, "What the fuck?" And so she, having pride and egos, like, "Well, why don't you shut the fuck up, ho?"
No.
And if you've never heard Judy's act, her voice is hard to fucking listen to.
Right. It's like Brett Butler on steroids.
Yeah, it's difficult to listen to. And so there's this whole thing, and because of him talking shit to a headliner while she was on stage, he was no longer welcome back in the building after that ever again. And there was a void at the Skull, and they were like, "Hey, can you do his job from now on?" And I was running a show in Atlanta at the time. Yeah. This shows you how little foresight I had. And I was like, "Sorry guys, I run a Tuesday bar show. I don't have the bandwidth right now." And then I called my roommate, and he was like, "Are you fucking you got?" And I called the owner back right away, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what I was thinking." And so that's actually how I have the job. Now, to connect that to my wife.
Yeah, I was wondering where the wife was going to come in.
I'm married to Julie Tenuta.
I am married to Judy. That's why I'm allowed to talk shit. No, he lived in the same building as my wife, and him and his boyfriend were a little banged up one day. I don't know on what, but they crashed into my wife's car.
Okay.
Hit her car, and during the year in which they were supposed to pay her back for the damage, they became friends because my wife can't kick people out of her life.
Yeah.
And I saw them in a picture together and was like, "Hey, who is that?"
Yeah.
And then that was sort of it. I hit her up.
That's my friend Ben's wife.
Yeah. And then I hit her up on Facebook, and which apparently you weren't supposed to do. She was like, that was like totally not a cool thing in 2011. She thought it was completely lame, and then she saw me at a show, and that's it. That was 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she could see this bone structure, you know, and
yeah.
But
God, that's fantastic.
yeah, so kind of a wild little thing there, but love the Laughing Skull. Come out, and you guys are always, of course, welcome to do shows there whenever. So.
Hell yeah. Absolutely go out and support the Laughing Skull. Check out Ben on Twitter at Ben Fort. You can find us on Twitter at The Goods Pod, Facebook.com/The Goods Pod. Shout out to our man in the North Pole, Richard Eden, put together the website. Coming real soon, thegoodspod.com, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you guys for having me, by the way.
Oh, man, of course. Yeah, thank you so much for doing the show.
This blew by.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Check us out on all of our social media stuff. Also on YouTube, youtube.com/thegoodspod. Pat, what should they do when they get to iTunes?
They should rate, review, subscribe, leave a comment. Comments are great. They're great signals to show why people should listen to a show, show our support, show the kind of people that are part of the Goods of the Woods community. Because the thing is that the Goods from the Woods community is based upon a little something we like to call the attitude of gratitude.
You know, to some people, the attitude of gratitude might just be getting a pepperoni pizza. But to other people, it's rate, reviewing, subscribing, and having that attitude. Because if y'all don't have an attitude of gratitude, then fuck you.
We'll see you next week. Alrighty, that about does it for this week's episode of the Goods from the Woods podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every week. And hey, if you liked our guest today, Ben Evans, guess what? Tonight, Ben and I are going to be in Birmingham performing at the Crek at Buck Mulligan's on Highland Avenue. Please come out and check us out. That's going to be a really fun show. It's going to start at 9 o'clock. Show's $5. We'd love to see you. And tomorrow night, I'm going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana, performing on Leon Blanda's show called Comedy Gold. That's at the House of Blues. That show starts at 7 p.m., and you can find out more info at the House of Blues website. So do that. Come out and see me. Support live comedy. Song of the week this week. Since we're going to be in Birmingham this evening, I figured I'd play some good old Birmingham punk rock music. This band is called the Burning Peppermints, and they have a new record out called Dirty Rainbow, and this song is called Ned Schneebly. The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.